Welcome to Community Taking Action, ABCD's program highlighting people and organizations doing great things in and around the Boston area. Today we are joined by Alexia Lane Lohman, who's the grants manager and going to talk to us about the Winter Emergency Campaign at ABCD. Welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me, Eric.
We'll talk about the Winter Emergency Campaign, which is phenomenal, and we'll get into that. But you also have a very significant role at ABCD, and you're the grants manager, of which I don't know much about other than, you help get grants. So let's talk a little bit about what the grants management looks like, what that looks like, and what do you do? Okay.
So the grants team, which is myself and two other writers, are within the Planning and Grants Department, also known as Institutional Advancement. And what that means is both planning of programs and evaluation, and then grant writing and fundraising for those programs, so that we can fund and sustain them and people can get the services that they need. And it makes a lot of sense to have both of those departments or functions in the same area or in the same office, because you can't write a compelling story if it's not well planned, and you can't plan something and roll out a program if you don't have money to support it.
And you're in a very unique position. You see, obviously from your vantage point, programs that have a need for grant funding. You get a chance to really see all of the programs, at least on paper, what's going on and where things are across the agency. How do you then, what's the process for going after grants? Like, how are you guys, chugging them out? I mean, it's just a huge job.
Yeah, so we, let's see. So to answer the first part of your question, how do we identify grants and kind of match them with programs? Right. Sometimes a funder, be it public funder like the city, the state, or the federal government, or a private foundation, will have a specific criteria for what they want to fund. They might say youth employment. They might say youth employment in Dorchester. Right. They might say youth employment for young women in the South End. Right. And you just have to find the right criteria and guidelines and know your programs well enough and know the funding field well enough so that you can match things up.
When I think about the work that you do in grant making, in my mind, I think about connecting resources that exist and are available to those that are in need of them. And that's what comes to my mind. And that leads me to the Winter Emergency Campaign. And so there are people who need resources, and then there's this campaign that's trying to connect resources to people. Talk about your role in that and what exactly the campaign is about and how it goes about doing what it does.
With the Winter Emergency Campaign, it's more of a traditional fundraising campaign where we do a direct mail campaign where we ask folks to donate. We also do drives at various corporations, individuals. We'll do a drive, either clothing or toy drive or food drive in a place that they're a part of, be it their school, their workplace, their church, something like that. And so the Winter Emergency Campaign was created to bolster the services that ABCD already offers to our clients, because winter can be a crisis if you're low income. One little thing, a pipe bursts, the car breaks down, and then you can't make your fuel payment.
And things are really out of control.
Right, and it spins out of control very quickly when you're on that balanced a budget. And so the Winter Emergency Campaign was the response to, we know winters are going to be tough here. What can we do to support our clients and our community in this time that's different than during the summer or the spring? Because we know the needs are different in the winter.
And how long has the campaign been going on, and how many clients are served?
This is the third year of the Winter Emergency Campaign. Last year, there were more than 3,000 clients who were direct beneficiaries of the campaign, whether it was through fuel assistance disbursement or a holiday toy for their kids, warm coats, boots, blankets, or a holiday meal. So about 3,000, and we're hoping to grow that this year.
And when does it start? Like, when do you go into campaigning, as it were?
Right. So the fundraising campaign we start planning in September or October. We launch in the beginning of November, because we do holiday meals during Thanksgiving, and we try to provide turkeys for our clients. An important part of our mission to me, is the piece that speaks to supporting our clients and living with dignity. Because just because you're low income doesn't mean you don't deserve a nice holiday meal. And so the Winter Emergency Campaign helps to fill some of those gaps.
Nice. And can you talk a little bit about the different components? You touched on it briefly, but what constitutes a campaign? You know, you have the fundraising, and then there's food and fun.
Right. There's 3 main elements. The first is just raising dollars to support fuel assistance. The federal government provides a generous amount of benefits to help low-income folks pay their fuel bills in the winter. The maximum allotment for a family, largest size, no matter how big your family is $900. Here in Boston, that constitutes about 2.5 tanks of oil, or which won't get you through more than 2.5 or 3 months. And so that's one piece of it, is raising dollars that go directly to fuel payments for clients. The other 2 main parts are Adopt a Family and the Toy Drive. The Toy Drive is something that's been going on longer than the Winter Emergency Campaign, where businesses and individuals donate anything from $1,000 to $5,000 worth of toys. The other side of that is Adopt a Family, which is a more direct connection, where families who are very close to ABCD and maybe go above and beyond and give back, fill out an application, they say what their family need is, and then they get matched with a donor who's willing to meet all of the needs on the list, within reason, of course. Right. And so things that might be on the list: new winter coat, waterproof boots. Folks need winter coats. They need boots to keep their feet dry. And
so that covers a lot, and it's a broad range.
Lot.
We're going to be up against the end of our program, so if there's anything about the emergency campaign that we haven't covered that's most important that we let the audience know, what would that be?
Be that the need grows every year, and there is always need in excess of the resources that we're able to raise. And we work very, very hard to raise what we have. Each year, the Winter Emergency Campaign has grown tremendously. 3 years ago, we were able to raise just about $100,000. Last year, we were able to push it past $150,000 to nearly $200,000, and that money translates to direct client benefit. And this year, we are looking to, raise $250,000. Wow. We're about 60% of the way to our goal, And if someone wants to help us reach that goal, they can call the Give line, which rings at our central office. I know we talk a lot about the neighborhoods here, but our central office on Tremont Street downtown, the number is 617-348-6559. Folks can also email the Give email, which is give, G-I-V-E, at bostonabcd.org. Wow. Or they can look me up if they want to talk about a donation. You're more than welcome to.
Excellent. Well, I want to thank you for coming on and talking a lot about, both the work that you do in connecting families to resources as a grant manager, and all that you do and are doing with the emergency campaign, which, winters are something we're very familiar with in Boston. So I want to thank you for coming on the program, and really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. And remember that it's only January.
Yes.
We've got January, February, March, and possibly part of April. So the winter it's just started over here.
Winter, as they say, isn't there a show on TV that says winter is coming?
Winter is coming. It's here. It'll be here for another couple months, and so we still need your help.
Excellent point for us. Thanks again.
Thanks, Eric.
That concludes our program. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And if you've missed any episodes, you can get them on YouTube. Thank you for joining Community Taking Action. I'm your host, Eric Mitchell. Until next time.